युहन्तः प्रविश्यावाचमिमां प्रसुप्तां सञ्जीवयत्यखिलशक्तिधरस्वधाम्ना अन्यांश्च हस्तचरणश्रवणत्वगादीन् प्राणान् नमो भगवते पुरुषाय तुभ्यं यं गुरुं हि स्वयं सत्यः प्रज्ञाभक्तिविनीतयः विहित्तिश्चाभिवृता नित्यं तं गुरुं प्रणमाम्यहम् सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्. Which verse to start? I think we have completed 22. Start from 18. तमेको लोकानां परमफलदो दिव्यपदवीं वहन्तस्त्वन्मूलां पुनरपि भजन्ते हरिमुखाः कियद्वा दाक्षिण्यं तव शिवमदाशा च कियती कदा वा मद्रक्षाम् वहसि करुणा पूरितदृशा दुराशा भूयिष्ठे दुरधिपगृहद्वारघटके दुरन्ते संसारे दुरितनिलये दुःखजनके मदायासं किं न व्यपनयसि कस्योपकृतये वदेयं प्रीतिश्चेत् तव शिवकृतार्थाः खलु वयम् सदा मोहाटव्यां चरति युवतीनां कुचगिरौ नटत्याशाखा स्वटति झटिति स्वैरमदितः कपालिं भिक्षो मे हृदयकपिमत्यन्तचपलं दृढं भक्त्या बद्धा शिवभवदधीनं कुरु विभो धृतिस्तम्भाधारां दृढगुणनिबद्धां सगमनां विचित्रां पद्माढ्यां प्रतिदिवस सन्मार्गघटिता स्मरारे मच्चेतः स्फुटपुटीं प्राप्य विशदां जयस्वामिन् शक्त्या सह शिवगणैः सेवितविभो. स्मरारे मच्चेतः स्फुटपटकुटीं प्राप्य विशदां जयस्वामिन् शक्त्या सह शिवगणैः सेवितविभो. प्रलोभाद्यैरर्थाहरणपरतन्त्रो धनिगृहे प्रवेशोद्युक्तः सन् भ्रमति बहुधा तस्करपते इमं चेतश्चोरं कथमिह सहे शङ्कर विभो तवाधीनं कृत्वा मयि निरपराधे कुरु कृपाम्. In verse 22, where I explained in the previous class, so due to lack of time, we skipped a couple of points, and the alankara also was not thoroughly dealt with. So, pralobhadyehi arthaharana paratantro dhanigrihe praveshodyuktas san भ्रमति बहुधा तस्करपते इमं चेतश्चोरं Kathamiha sahe Shankara Vibho Tavadhinam Krutva Mai Niraparadhe Kuru Kripa. So I was mentioning to you that this verse has alankaras. I also mentioned the name of the alankara, but then explanation. The example I will just give it to you now. So here, before we move on to the alankara, the word chetaschoram. How do you understand? What kind of samasa is it?
Shashti Tatpurusha.
Shashti Tatpurusha. So suppose you say chetaschora, then chetasaha choraha, right? So chetasaha choraha means the one who steals my heart. Right? Imam chetaschoram kathamiha sahe Shankara Vibho. Immediately you feel that you should have Tatpurusha. And there are many songs also which describe Krishna as Chetaschora. Okay. But here one should not understand the word Chetaschora as Chetasaha Choraha. But you have to understand this as Cheto Rupaha Choraha. So here the prayer that is being made is Imam Chetaschoram Kathamiha Sahe. See? So this thief, how do I tolerate him? So this Chetaha itself is described as Chora. Okay. So this is how we have to understand. Imam Chetaschoram Kathamiha Sahe. So what does this chora do? This chora keeps on grabbing me to move from one place to the other place. One artha to the other artha. One artha to the other anartha, which essentially leads to anartha. So this is what it does. Imam chetaschoram kathamiha sahe Shankara Vibho. It is very difficult for me to deal with this fellow. So that is what you are telling to Ishvara. Imam chetaschoram kathamiha sahe Shankara Vibho. See, in many families, the child is so mischievous. Right? So how do I handle this child? I don't know. There are some grown-up fellows also who are in 8th standard, 9th standard. So recently when I went to Chennai, a temple priest, his son used to come for Veda Patha in the morning. So this was about 3-4 years ago. Regularly he used to come. Now he is just reaching his teenage. So then his father was telling me, I don't know what to do with this fellow, he does not listen to me. See, kathamiha sahe means how do I live with him, how do I tolerate this fellow? Imam chetaschoram. Because I want to do something, this fellow steals, okay, my thought to somewhere else. Imam chetaschoram kathamiha sahe Shankara Vibho. The word artha, normally thieves, see, choraha. Thieves try to steal things which are sort of valuable, worth money, gold, etc. etc. But the artha should be understood as any artha. Okay, indriyartha. So artha is arthyate artha. So we explained that as Shabda Sparsha Rupa Rasa, whatever it is. So from one artha to another artha, it is just grabbing me. So therefore, in fact, even Bhagavad Gita we have, see, Karmendriyani Sanyamya Yaste Manasasmaran Indriyarthan Vimudhatma Mithyacharasya Uchyate. So Indriyarthan we have, see, Karmendriyani Sanyamya Yaste Manasasmaran Indriyarthan Vimudhatma. So Karmendriyani Sanyamya, this fellow, so merely putting restraint upon the Karmendriyas. If he leaves the Jnanendriya to just wander, Indriyarthan yaha aste manasa smaran. So the Chetaschora is just dragging me. So Arthaharana Paratantraha. It is under the spell of receiving Shabda Sparsha Rupa Rasa Gandha. So it is not focused on one thing. So how do I tolerate this fellow? It is in that sense it is described as Chetas Choraha. Cheto Rupaha Choraha. Tatu Chetasaha Choraha. Okay. Kathamiha sahe Shankara Vibho. He Shankara Vibho Katham Aham sahe. He says. So Katham Aham sahe is essentially an expression of the helplessness. An expression of helplessness. So in expressing the helplessness to the Almighty, so one gains enormous amount of strength. Okay. So helplessness to other fellows sometimes may help. Okay. So the other fellow, if he is a genuinely helping fellow, so if you go and express your helplessness, you may receive some help. On the other hand, if it is a fellow whom you do not assess, so if you express your helplessness, he may even exploit you. So this is what happens. But if you express your helplessness to the Ishvara, then I think you will be able to get enormous strength, courage. So that is what we have to understand. Kathamiha sahe Shankara Vibho. He Shankara. So Shankara Vibho. So Shankara is the addressing word and Vibho is to be taken as adjective. Similarly, Taskarapate is to be taken as adjective. Okay. He Taskarapate Vibho Shankara. So this is how you have to understand. So in the previous class I was telling you that we have the adjective Taskarapate used as adjective for Shankara, right? So when a certain Visheshana is employed with a particular idea in mind, then we have an Alankara called Parikara. Okay, Alankara Parikaraha. Repeat.
Alankara Parikaraha. Alankara Parikaraha.
Sabhipraye Visheshane.
Sabhipraye Visheshane. Swabhipraye. Sabhipraye Visheshane.
Punaha.
Sabhipraye Visheshane.
The example is Sudham Shukalitottam Saha.
Sudham Shukalitottam Saha. Sudham Shukalitottam Saha.
Tapam Haratu Vashivaha.
Tapam Haratu Vashivaha. Tapam Haratu Vashivaha.
So Vaha Shivaha Tapam Haratu. Vaha Tapam Shivaha Haratu. Right? Vaha means Yushmakam. Yushmakam Tapam Haratu Shivaha. Right? Yushmakam Tapam Shivaha Haratu. Now, how is he described? Sudhamshu Kalitottam Saha. Shivaha is Visheshya and the qualifier Visheshana is Sudhamshu Kalitottam Saha. Sudhamshu Nama? Chandra. See, Amshu, the one who possesses Kirana. The one who possesses nectar-like kiranas, the ones whose rays are just like nectar. Okay. So this is in comparison with the kirana of the sun. Okay. So sun is Chandamshu, moon is Sudhamshu. Now Sudhamshu Kalitottam Saha means, Duktam Saha means the one who has ornament in his head. Okay. So the one who has moon as ornament in his head. Now this moon emanating cool rays is something which is well known. Now Tapa is sort of heat which is experienced. Now by using this qualifier to Shiva, you hint that as the moon has the ability to Okay, reduce the heat. Okay, providing cool rays. So too you will be able to provide. Okay, reduce the heat in my heart. So Sudhamshu Kalitottam Saha Tapam Haratu Vashivaha. So this Visheshana is used keeping a particular thing in mind. So then there is a example of Parikara Alankara. Similarly here, if you come to this verse, so you are describing Shankara as Taskarapati. Pati means Lord. So the one who is the Lord of Taskaras will obviously be able to keep the Taskaras under his spell, right? So he can control them. So imam chetaschoram. Okay, my heart is like a thief and you are anyway the head of thieves. So therefore you please govern this thief. Okay. So keep him under your control. So that is the idea in using this phrase Taskarapati. Okay, Parikara Alankara. Okay. Sudhamshu Kalitottam Saha Tapam Haratu Vashivaha. Similarly here Taskarapate Shankara Imam Chetaschoram. Okay. So it is very difficult. Tavadhinam Krutva. Okay, you keep him under your control. Tavadhinam Krutva Mai Niraparadhe Kuru Krupam. Okay, I do not want to commit mistake, but this Chetaha is dragging me. Okay. So please keep this fellow under your control and bless me. So that is what he is trying to do here. In fact, towards the end of the last class, there was a question by Krishna Kumar. Krishna Kumar was asking, then I said, we don't have time, we will discuss in the next class. He was asking this question in Shri Rudra. We have this Stenanam Pataye Namaha, Taskaranam Pataye Namaha. Shiva is described by different words. Stenanam Patihi, Taskaranam Patihi, and so on. He was asking what is the difference between the words Stena, Taskara, Chora, and so on. Okay. So I said I will explain later. Many times we use the word synonymously. So for instance, if you want to describe someone as a student of someone, you can say Chhatra, you can say Shishya, you can say Antevasi. You can use several terms which are sort of synonymous. But then if you look at carefully the Shabda Pravritti, okay, Shabda Pravritti means why this word has come into existence. So if you have one word, why have other words? Right? Or if you have 2-3 words, why have 10 different words? So the words have a certain connotation, okay, have the ability to connote something, okay, based on how they are formed. So this is what is called Shabda Pravritti Nimittam. So here one can to some extent make a distinction between, we have the word Chora, we have the word Chaura, we have the word Taskara, okay? We have the word Stena. So there are different words. I will tell you, so many of you would have read Bhagavad Gita. Right? In Bhagavad Gita there is a verse, what is that? Ishtan bhogan hivo devaha. Repeat.
Ishtan bhogan hivo devaha. Ishtan bhogan hivo devaha.
Dasyante yajñabhavitaha.
Dasyante yajñabhavitaha. Dasyante yajñabhavitaha.
Tairdattana pradayebhyaha.
Tairdattana pradayebhyaha. Tairdattana pradayebhyaha.
Yo bhunte stena eva saha.
Yo bhunte stena eva saha. Yo bhunte stena eva saha.
Here in this verse we find the use of the word stena. Okay? So what does this verse say? Ishtan bhogan hivo devaha dasyante. Devaha dasyante. They give you. Okay. What do they give you? Ishtan bhogan. Yajna bhavitaha means when you try to please them with yajna. Okay. Yajnena bhavitaha. Now, the later half of the verse is Tairdattan apradaya. See, in order to reciprocate, if you do not do anything, yo bhungte means one who simply enjoys. This verse has a lot of inner meaning, but I just wanted to bring to your attention only one significant thing. The use of the word stena here, yo bhungte stena eva saha, it is. So he is just like a thief. This is what he tries to say. So just like a thief in the sense, so this word is not as strong as certain other words. So in the context, if you see. So here it says, if you do not reciprocate with what you have been benefited, right? It is just like sort of kritagna. Understand? You have been blessed with something. Okay? Somebody tries to bestow you several things. Now you do not show any kind of gratitude towards him. Okay? So here sahastena eva means it is putting strongly that he is just like a thief. Okay? Almost like a thief. So this is what it tries to say. So this itself is not acceptable. That if you gain something from someone, in fact, even when the Vidya Sukta, if you see, so it says, so you learn from someone, you do not show any sort of, so you all that you are today is because of what you have gained from him. This can be with respect to parents, this can be with respect to teachers, this can be with respect to, if you do not, okay, revert back, if you do not have any sort of gratitude, it is equivalent to sort of sahastena eva is what the verse says. So this is somewhat comparable to not reciprocating. Okay, but you should not take the word stena as kritagna. Understand? So it is somewhat milder term. Now if you think of chora, okay, so if you think of a chora, then so he grabs something which you possess. So paradravya apahari. Okay. So paradravya apahari choraha. Now paradravya apahari, there again it can be at two levels. One is once in a while you do all the time. Your profession is stealing is one thing. Once in a while you steal, this is another thing. Understand? So once in a while stealing, that fellow can be called as choraha. Chorayati iti choraha. Whereas chauraha is, understand? Chura shilam asya. Okay. Shilam means his very nature. Okay. So then it is chauraha. Okay. So this is how this sort of distinction. Okay. Now come to the word taskara. See, this is another interesting thing. So the word taskara, see, this is more from the viewpoint of grammar, since there are people who have studied quite a bit of grammar. So I'll just tell you. The very formation of the word taskara has been described by a certain vartika. Okay? I'll tell the vartika, you repeat. Tad brihatoho.
Tad brihatoho. Tad brihatoho.
Karapatyoho.
Karapatyoho. Karapatyoho.
Chora devatayoho.
Chora devatayoho. Chora devatayoho.
Sut talopascha.
Sut talopascha. Sut talopascha.
There are basically 5 words in this vartika. It is simple. the last part may not be understood by you, Sut Talo Paschat, but other things are much simpler. Tad Brihatoho means Tat is a Shabda, Brihat is another Shabda. Okay? Tad Brihatoho is a word which says for Tat and Brihat. Karapatyoho. Karapatyoho means when these two words are followed by Kara and Pati respectively. You can easily feel now Tatu Kara Taskara in some form, right? But how does this word get formed? So Tat Brihatoho, and the other one is Pati, Brihapati, Brihatpati. Instead of saying Brihatpati, you say Brihaspati, right? How do you get this? Similarly, Tatkaraha, when you say, you can say Tatkara. Tatkaraha, in fact, Tatkaraha has two different meanings. So you can have Tatkaraha, you can have Tatkaraha also. I'll tell you, Tatkaraha means, say, Karaha means hand. You can say Tasya Karaha, Tatkaraha. Okay, there is one way of doing. Tatkaroti iti tatkaraha. See, he does that, so then also you can say tatkaraha. But we do not have that. We have taskaraha here. Understand? See, taskaraha. In fact, the word taskaraha actually means tatkaroti. Kim karoti? See, chauryam karoti. That is all. The tat should mean chauryam here. But anyway, so that is why this taskaraha should not confuse. Okay. So therefore, this Vartika comes and explains. What does it say? Tadbrihatoho means Tachabdasya Brihachabdasya cha. So Parashabdau yedi Karapatyau Karashabdaha Patishabdasya. Then, so there the third word is important. Choradevatayoho. Choradevatayoho means when they are to refer to a thief and devata. Okay? Choradevatayoho. If they were referring to, then it says Sutu Talo Pascha. Sutu Talo Pascha means Sut means Sudagama. Okay, Sudagama means is will come. So that is why we have Tatu Karaha. Suppose you say, now is will come. What will happen? This D will get dropped. Okay, that is what meant by Talopascha. So you can ask the question how Talopa means Jalopa. I will not explain that grammatical. This is something interesting. Okay, which I will leave for now. So this you take it that it actually means Dalopaha, Talopascha, both. Okay, so Taskaraha you have. Similarly, Brihaspatihi. See, Devatayo when it refers to Brihaspati. Okay, so Brihaspati is referring to Devata. Okay, otherwise, Brihatpatihi, suppose you say. That is also correct. Brihatpatihi means, see, Brihataha, Brihasya Patihi, you can say. Brihatpatihi. Okay, the one who has huge house, the one who has big wealth, whatever it is one can say. So that will be Brihatpati. But if you want to refer to Devata, it is Brihaspati. Okay, refer to basically Vag Devata. And in fact, Vakpatihi is same as Brihaspatihi. You are learning this with Brihadarnika, no? Morning. Vagvai Brihati Tasya Eshapatihi Tasmadu Brihaspatihi. Okay, remember? So that is the mantra we have. So there it says Vagvai Brihati Tasya Eshapatihi Tasmadu Brihaspatihi. Okay. Anyway, so the Taskara has an interesting formation. Okay, Taskaraha. In fact, Tatkaraha. So the derivation is Tatkaroti. Tatkartum Shilam Asyeti. Tatkaraha. Okay. Taskaraha. So this Tat is many times used to refer to specific thing, something which is very special. In fact, Tat can also refer to Brahma. Okay. Om Tat Saditi Nirdeshaha. It can refer to various things, but even in Shastras, when they say Tat, that means it has some specific thing. So that is what you have to remember. Okay. Now, having explained that, I will move on to the next verse. 23. Karomi tvat pujam.
Karomi tvat pujam. Karomi tvat pujam.
Sapadi sukhado me bhava vibho.
Sapadi sukhado me bhava vibho. Sapadi sukhado me bhava vibho.
Vidhitvam vishnutvam.
Vidhitvam vishnutvam. Vidhitvam vishnutvam.
Dishasi khalu tasyah phalamiti. Dishasi khalu tasyah phalamiti. Dishasi khalu tasyah phalamiti. Punaschatvam drashtum.
Punaschatvam drashtum. Punaschatvam drashtum.
Divi bhuvi vahan pakshimrigatam.
Divi bhuvi vahan pakshimrigatam. Divi bhuvi vahan pakshimrigatam.
Adrishtva tatkhedam.
Adrishtva tatkhedam. Adrishtva tatkhedam.
Kathamiha sahe Shankara vibho.
Kathamiha sahe Shankara vibho. Kathamiha sahe Shankara vibho.
Kathamiha sahe Shankara vibho. This phrase repeats in the previous verse as well as this verse. There it occurs in the third pada. There it occurs in the fourth pada. Karomi tvat pujam. Sapadi sukhado me bhava vibho. Vidhitvam vishnutvam. Dishasi khalu tasyah phalamiti. Punaschatvam drashtum. Divi bhuvi vahan pakshimrigatam. Adrishtva tatkhedam. Kathamiha sahe Shankara vibho. So this is a verse which has an episode to be understood for understanding this. So there is an episode wherein it is described that Shiva took a very huge form. Very huge form. And Vishnu and Brahma, so they wanted to. So there is some other, I don't remember the story exactly now. So this Vishnu and Brahma, so they are supposed to take some other form, and then one is supposed to see the head of Shiva, other is supposed to see the foot of Shiva. You know that story? You have heard. So here he is saying Vahan Pakshi Mrigatam. They take the form of Pakshi. Pakshi Mrigatam. Vidhitvam Vishnutvam, he says. Vidhitvam Vishnutvam means the post of, you should understand that word as Vidhihi is Brahma, Vishnu. Karomi Tvat Pujam, he says. Aham Tvat Pujam Karomi. And the prayer here is Sukhado me bhava vibho. So may you bless me with happiness. Sukhadaha bhava. Sukham dadatiti sukhadaha. May sukhado bhava is what he says. Why is he saying this? We will come back to that. The second quarter he says, Vidhitvam Vishnutvam Dishasi. So people say that you give, okay, Brahmahood and Vishnuhood. Vidhitvam Vishnutvam. So you seem to be blessing people, those who do puja, with these portfolios. Okay. Vidhitvam Vishnutvam Dishasi Khalu Tasyaha Kasyaha Pujayaha Phalam. Dishasi Khalu Tasyah Phalamiti. This is what I have heard. So you bless people with these posts itself. These posts are very high posts. Okay. One who has the ability to create, so one who sustains the entire world. So something like that we have. So aham tat pujam karomi, and I have heard from people you are in a position to even give these posts to those bhaktas. Okay. Then he says, punascha tvam drashtum Divi bhuvi vahan pakshi mrigadam. These people could not see you, okay? Could not see the full form. They were only able to see some small part. Suppose some people use this sort of a glass. Okay? So if you use this glass, this magnifying glass. Suppose something is there, you have to see this through magnifying glass. So if it is not at appropriate distance, then this will look too huge. You cannot have any sort of a picture about it. Even in camera, if you sort of zoom, it is all finished. You will not be able to see the face. You will only be able to see some spots. Nothing more will be seen. See. So some telescope also it is like that, I have seen. So if you focus the moon, at some level, if you just see, you can see the moon. But if you keep on increasing the size, magnifying, then it's all finished. You will only see some spots, you will miss the moon. So similarly here, this Shiva and Vishnu, so they could not see you. Okay. So they had to take this form of Pakshi and Mriga. And one went above, one went below, something like that. There is some story. Now he says, Punascha tvam drashtum divi bhuvi vahan pakshi mrigatam adrishtva tatkhedam. Even if you give me that post, then I may not be able to see you. So keeping this episode in his mind, tatkhedam, so getting unnecessarily pained, okay, that I could not reach that point. So I will only be disappointed. Kasamiha sahe Shankara Vibho. So I do not want any of these posts. Okay. So he only says, Sukhado me bhava Vibho. Vibho here is also used in a specific usage. So karomi tvat pujam sapadi sukhado me bhava Vibho. Okay. Vidhitvam Vishnutvam Dishasi Khalu Tasyah Phalamiti Punascha Tvam Drashtum Divi Bhuvi Vahan Pakshi Mrigatam Adushtva Tatkhedam Kasamiha Sahe Shankara Vibho. Why is he using this word Vibho 2 times? Because in this episode particularly, the form that Shiva took is almost like all-pervasive. Very, very huge. Vibhu means all-pervasive. Okay? So because you took this all-pervasive form, very, very huge form, so they could not locate, they went, and finally they came disappointed, unable to see your face or foot. So therefore, this is a specific word that he has employed here in this verse particularly, to convey a particular idea. So therefore, this can be taken as Parikarankura Alankara. Okay? So this is a Visheshya. So I told In the last class I alluded to this. Sabhipraye visheshyetu.
Sabhipraye visheshyetu. Sabhipraye visheshyetu.
Bhavet parikarankurah.
Bhavet parikarankurah. Bhavet parikarankurah.
See, the point here is, so he is trying to convey the message that they were unable to trace your head and foot. So though they travelled for very, very long time using all their superhuman powers, they could not trace. So in order to communicate that, he is using the word vibhavo. Understand? So visheshya here is sabhipraya. Okay? So to convey that they could not. Okay? Bhavet parikarankurah. So there we have this example. So Chaturnam Purusharthanam Datadevas Chaturbhujaha. Chaturnam Purusharthanam.
Chaturnam Purusharthanam. Chaturnam Purusharthanam.
Datadevas Chaturbhujaha.
Datadevas Chaturbhujaha. Datadevas Chaturbhujaha.
So what is the Visheshya here in the example? Chaturbhuja. So Chaturbhujaha is Visheshya. Why did he use the word Chaturbhujaha? So Chaturnam Purusharthanam Data. So each Purushartha can be given by one hand. So something like that. Okay, there is a certain chamatkara. Chaturnam Purusharthanam Data Devas Chaturbhujaha. Trivikramaha he would have used, no? Chaturnam Purusharthanam Data Devas Trivikramaha. Suppose I say. So you don't have that kind of a chamatkara. Okay? Chaturbhujaha, you have a chamatkara. So that is why this is a nice alankara. Similarly here, so if you use the word vibho, okay? So it means, so you are in the form of vibhu and therefore they could not trace is something which can be easily understood. Okay? So that is how this alankara can be traced here. Now the other thing is, in this verse, if you look at, here he says, Karomi tvat pujam. Okay. He could have said, Karomi tvat bhaktim. That also fits the meter. Karomi tvat bhaktim. Sapati sukhado me bhava vibho. He could have said, but he didn't say that. He says, Karomi tvat pujam. So what could be the significance? So one thing could be simple. So one thing could be much simpler to understand. Bhakti is something which is a little more difficult. So bhakti, real bhakti, it's not the trader activity. So it is aparimitam prema. Okay. So aparimita prema is what is called bhakti. So that kind of a devotion, okay, this unflinching devotion may not be easy. And if you expect bhakti, it's a little difficult for me. But at least I can do puja. Puja has to do with something which is external. Bhakti has something to do with the internal organ. Guru Bhakti. Okay. Guru Bhakti is one thing, Guru Seva is another thing. Okay. Now, Bhakti will drive you Seva. That is a possibility. But Seva does not imply Bhakti. Understand? So, this is something you have to be very clear. Similarly, Puja does not imply Bhakti, but Bhakti will lead you to Puja. Okay? May lead you to, need not necessarily always explicit. And that is why we have Navavidha Bhakti. The last time I told you. Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnoho, Smaranam, Padasevanam, Archanam, Vandanam, Dasyam, Sakhyam, Atmanivedanam. Okay? This Atmanivedanam is something which cannot be seen externally. Okay. So, but other things, I mean, you go and do some seva in the temple, you go and you get some flowers, you clean the place. So, you do various other things. These are all tangible. Okay. So, here he is saying, Karomi tvat pujam. So, at one level, you can understand this word to convey that I may not qualify to be a bhakta, but at least I do puja. Even for this, you grant me sukha. Okay. And sukha sapadi. Sapadi means quickly you do. Okay, sapadi sukhado me bhava vibho. Sapadi sukhado bhava. This is one level of meaning. The other level of meaning you can understand for this usage puja is, so this bhakti may be there, but unless it manifests itself in some tangible form, one will not be able to recognize it as bhakti. Okay? So I have great bhakti towards you, but I will not listen to you. Suppose you say Guru Bhakti. Okay, what is bhakti there? It has to express itself in some tangible form. So you can say, see, so suppose somebody says, I am going for examination. You just keep quiet. What will that fellow feel? I wish you all the best, may you remember all that you have studied, etc. I have to say or not? So unless you say, how do you know that you have good wishes? Right? So it has to express itself in some tangible form, right? So without that, I mean, one doesn't know Guru is I have bhakti, so you will just keep sitting. So when he comes, so you have to have sambrama, right? So those things are, so do namaskara, you say something. So this is what is important. Okay? So this puja is, see, so a tangible expression for bhakti. Karomi tvat pujam. And this puja always nourishes bhakti also. You have to understand this. So that is why we have various temples. So many people cannot see bhakti can be at two levels. So one is, even Bhagavad Pada says, is Swaswaroopanusandhanam bhaktirithyabhidhiyate. In Viveka Chudamani we have this. Swaswaroopanusandhanam bhaktirithyabhidhiyate. So that bhakti can be even at that level. But here, so when it is a sakara murti, okay, so that enables people. So you have some bhajan, nama, sankirtan. There are so many people who are able to relate themselves. Remember yesterday somebody was saying that I went to Manhattan and so many people are in great trouble. So when I went and gave some lectures, they are able to relate. Some person from ISKCON. So they develop in some form. So we have. So this kind of associating oneself. So it can be with some tune, it can be with some bhajan, it can be with some archana. So when I went to US in September, so I was giving some lecture. So somebody asked me to talk on this is Subramania Bhujangam and then Vinayaka Pancharatnam. Simultaneously something else was going on. Okay? Some puja in the second floor, whatever. So almost 90% of the population was there. Rather 70%. Only some 20-30% will be sitting here for the lecture. So, I mean, it just got organized like that. So that, see, when somebody offers some flower, when somebody does something, I mean, that is little more attractive rather than this kind of a bhakti. So thinking of what great people have said, what Shankaracharya has said. So that requires a little more maturity, right? So that is not there. Therefore, he is saying, Karomi tvat pujam. Karomi tvat pujam. Okay. Sapadi sukhado me bhava vibho. Vidhitvam vishnutvam dishasi khalu tasyaf phalamiti. Read. Karomi tvat pujam sapadi sukhado me bhava vibho. Vidhitvam vishnutvam dishasi khalu tasyaf phalamiti.
पुनश्च त्वां द्रष्टुं दिवि भुवि
Divi
वहन्
means so Akashi. Bhuvi means one friend below. Okay. Divi bhuvi vahan
पक्षिमृगताम् अदृष्ट्वा खेदम् कथमिह सहे शङ्कर विभो.
Next one. Kada va kailase
कदा वा कैलासे कदा वा कैलासे
कनकमणि सौधे सहगणैः
कनकमणिसौधे सहगणैः कनकमणिसौधे सहगणैः
वसन् शम्भोरग्रे
वसन् शम्भोरग्रे वसन् शम्भोरग्रे
स्फुटघटितमूर्धाञ्जलिपुटः
स्फुटघटितमूर्धाञ्जलिपुटः स्फुटघटितमूर्धाञ्जलिपुटः
विभो साम्बस्वामिन्
विभो साम्बस्वामिन् विभो साम्बस्वामिन्
परमशिव पाहीति निगदन्
परमशिव पाहीति निगदन् परमशिव पाहीति निगदन्
विधातॄणां कल्पान्
विधातॄणां कल्पान् विधातॄणां कल्पान्
क्षणमिव विनेष्यामि सुखतः
क्षणमिव विनेष्यामि सुखतः क्षणमिव विनेष्यामि सुखतः.
So this verse, in fact, the next two verses also, so commencing from this, they have a particular theme. I will explain that perhaps in the next class. But we will just see quickly the content of this verse. He says, Kadava Kailase, simple. So when do I? Kadava Kailase Kanakamani Saudhe Sahaganai. Kanakamani Saudhe. See, Saudha means palace. See? So Kanaka is gold. Mani is various kinds of gems. Okay. So the palace which is studded with gold, okay, and gems. So you can understand that way. Kanakamani Saudhe. He is just describing the Kailasa. Sahaganaihi Ganais Saha. Ganais Saha means there is some Shivagana. So with your own group of people. Kanakamani Saudhe Sahaganaihi Vasan Shambhoragre. So Shiva is supposed to be living in Kailasa. So he is just saying Kadava Kailase. So there are three types of mokshas which are generally talked about. Moksha is generally freedom. Okay. So moksha for some of the PhD students, if APS is over, annual progress it is a moksha. Right? So temporary moksha. So if you are studying in school, the annual examination is over, it is a moksha. So moksha is some sort of a temporary freedom you can think of from a certain kind of pressure that you are experiencing. So Kailase Kanakamani Saudhaihi Sahaganaihi. So he is saying, so I want to transcend from this world and then imagine myself sitting in Kailasa. Okay. So being in Kailasa along with other ganas, Vasan Shambhoragre. Shambhoragre, Shambhu is somewhere. So all these fellows ganas will be at a far off distance. Sputaghatita Murdhanjali Putaha. Anjali is basically putting the hands together. Putting the palms together is what is called Anjali. Okay. Murdhanjali Putaha means, okay, so keeping the hands folded upon the forehead. Murdha, head. Murdhanjali Putaha. Sputaghatita means well placed. So nowadays there are some fellows, these North Indians, I have seen. So they want to show their respect. They will just bend like that, call away. Just they will touch. It's not touching the foot. But they will just show some action, right? So not that. So his Phuta Ghatita means well folded hands upon the head. You understand? Phuta Ghatita Murdhanjali Putaha. Okay. Vibho Samba Swamin. See, Samba Swamin. See, Samba, there are 3 words here. See, Vibho Samba Swamin Paramashiva. So he is just saying, Pahiti Nigadan. So when I want to call you, so various kinds of thoughts come to my mind. So sometimes I think of this Vibho, all pervasive form. Some other times I find you being with Amba. Therefore I call Samba. The other aspect of you is you are the Lord of everything. Hey Swamin. Okay, you can bless me with whatever you like. Okay, whatever I seek. Hey Paramashiva. Paramashiva is an epithet which is used to tell the Lord that you know what is Mangala for me. See, Paramashiva means Parama Mangala. So I may think that this is something which is going to be beneficial for me, but that may not be true. Okay? So Paramashiva. In fact, in one's own life, one would have had certain experiences. I have definitely seen some 2-3 instances where I know that I was, now when I go back and think, I was actually feeling, this did not happen for me. Okay? For some time I would have been little unhappy with. But that actually turned out to be very, very good thing for me. Not once, many times. So that is why we just leave it to Ishvara. See, once you take 1 or 2 lessons like this, you just don't worry about things. So this is something which is very important. You just leave it to Ishvara. Okay. So therefore Paramashiva means Paramakalyanakari, you know. Pahiti Nigadan. May you protect. That's all. Okay. Paramashiva Pahiti Nigadan means uttering these words. Okay. Addressing you like this. And then expressing explicitly my helplessness, not merely by action, but Pahi, Paramashiva Pahi Dinigadan Vidhatrinam Kalpa Kshanamiva Vineshyami Sukhataha Vidhatrinam Kalpan. This is something which requires a bit of explanation, which maybe I will take up in the next class. But it literally means, so the kalpa of Brahma. Okay. So Vidhata means Brahma. So many kalpas of Brahma I want to spend like that. Vidhatrinam kalpan. And he also says Kshanamiva Vineshyami means, so that is really a huge time. Okay. And that I would like to just spend like a kshana. So when we are actually engaging ourselves in an activity which is so enchanting to us, then we may not even feel the pass of the time. Okay? So a huge time just flies away. So on the other hand, if you are completely disinterested, then like this communication skill course, some people sit just for the sake of sitting. So then Truti Yugayate for those fellows. So that is what will happen. Okay, here see Yugaha Trutyayate. Okay, so that is what Vidhatrinam Kalpan Kshanamiva, like a second Vineshyami Sukhataha. Sukhataha Kadava Vineshyami is the question. When is it that this may happen? This is what I would like to happen. Okay? So this is the prayer for, this is what is called Salokya. I will explain that a little later, but perhaps in the next class we'll see. Read this now. Kadava Kailase
Kanagamani Saude Sahaganaihi Vasan Shambhoragre Sputaghatita Murdhanjali Putaha Vibho Sambaswamin Paramashiva Pahiti Nigadan Vahatranam Kalpan Kshanamiva Vineshyami Sukhataha.
Om Sarve Pisakhinas Santu Sarve Santu Niramayaha Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kaschid Dukha Bhavet. Om